If they're not going to trust you and your judgment and your knowledge, then it's really hard to help them.
I was monitoring, and Dr. Ham did the dental, and she's like, Devin, look. And I turn her. I'm not great with teeth. Like, I have sensitive teeth, so dentals are kind of hard for me. But I turn around, and she just, like, wiggles the canine and pulls it. I was like,
Yeah, when they have that and they have cardiac disease, they're fine until they're not.
Yep.
And then
Literally.
all of a sudden they are not fine. And it could be anything that sets them into congestive heart failure. They could be at the house and they run down the hallway. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Veterinary Roundtable, the podcast where we answer your veterinary-related questions while having some fun along the way. If you enjoyed today's episode or a previous episode, be sure to leave us a review on your podcast provider of choice. And if you have any feedback to offer to improve the Veterinary Roundtable, let us know. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
whoop, whoop. Okay.
Reviews,
Wow.
baby, reviews.
Wow.
Moved.
Man.
So much from last week.
That's a rough 2 weeks on reviews. That's okay. People are busy. It's spring.
Kind of.
Well,
for the week.
I'm pretending like it is. We're going to just
Yeah.
push us forward into...
Manifesting.
It's basically April. That's what we're going to keep saying.
Basically.
Right. That means it's basically my birthday.
So everybody's outside. Everybody's having fun.
Yeah, it's beautiful today.
So, we get it. Absolutely.
But
Everybody's busy. Spring cleaning.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Move forward.
320. Previously at 318 on Spotify. 125 previously at 122 on Apple Podcast.
Thank you for all the reviews.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
thank
no
you.
kidding. That's a lot of
seriousness,
people.
That's a lot of people
And that's a
leaving
lot of
reviews.
feedback, and
Thank you.
we really appreciate it.
We are
Definitely
trying
helps
to
us.
provide some fun.
Yes,
So we appreciate the feedback.
sure do. All right. Don't forget to check out our social media. We have an Instagram and TikTok. You can find them at the Veterinary Roundtable. We also have a YouTube channel called the Veterinary Roundtable where you can actually watch our video podcasts. They are published over there. So if you'd like to see the ladies in red rather than just listen to us, check out YouTube.
You should see us.
Most days.
Some days, right?
You should see us. Okay, anyway.
I'm Devin Fortune,
I'm Courtney Allen.
I'm Emily King, and this is...
the Veterinary Roundtable.
We're missing Dr. Duckwall today because we just are.
Guys, you know what we should do?
She quit,
What?
actually.
We should go the Veterinary Roundtable, and then he edits it, and it's so sick.
Okay, ready?
Ready? And
The.
this is
Wait.
this is
The.
Veterinary.
Roundtable.
Okay.
But yeah, Duckwall's gone. She quit.
Just kidding.
Just this episode.
Yeah, she didn't quit.
It's okay.
JK, we miss her dearly.
Okay, so
Really.
pits and peaks. What are you guys feeling this week?
Yeah.
I'll go first.
Okay.
My peak was that I got to have dinner with my whole family this past weekend. So my
Aw.
Harmony, which is my grandma, she took us all out to our favorite Korean restaurant, and it was just a really good time.
Oh,
Aw.
fun.
Mm-hmm.
Fun.
And then my pit is my car is having problems.
Oh.
So this is going to sound very like privileged and prissy, I feel like, because every time I say it, I feel like it. But I've always had leased cars. So I've always had brand new cars. And then I decided to not lease this last time, and I bought a car in cash, so I own it. So it's just like weird going from that, like a brand new car, to having a used car that has issues. And
Sure.
so my transmission is a little messed up right now. So I have an appointment. My father-in-law's a mechanic, so he's been looking at it. But I have an appointment to take it in to have the computer updated. So hopefully that'll fix the problem. And my car really hates the cold. My car does not do well in the cold. So hopefully that fixes it and I don't have to replace the transmission.
Can you rent
'Cause
garages
sometimes-
at your apartment complex?
No, we only have carports.
Okay.
So we do not have any garages.
Yeah.
Which if we did it would be worth the money because my car does not do well in the cold. And what it's doing is a known problem with Hondas, but I just love my car so much. So I don't want it to be a transmission because usually most of the time replacing the transmission really isn't
Yeah.
worth it in a lot of cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
What, you said 2013?
yeah, I have a 2013 Honda Pilot and he is a beaut. I love him.
Louis.
I love him. But that's it. Pray for my car.
You said your peak and pit? Yes,
Yeah.
you did. Okay. My peak is that Walter moved into the apartment so smoothly, guys. Like,
okay.
I was so proud of him. The second we left our house and I brought him to the apartment, he did not make a single peep. Like, he didn't meow. He didn't do anything, which was impressive because normally he screams for like the first 5 minutes of a car ride and then he settles in, super quiet. And he is super happy in the apartment. Good.
That's
like,
amazing.
Yeah, that is
literally
really
30
exciting.
minutes into moving, he used the litter box.
Oh my
and
gosh.
then he ate dinner that night. He drank
Wow.
water. He's being very clingy, which I think is kind of my pit, but he is an alone cat for the first time in his life. So he did have to say goodbye to his brother, Sid, at home. But he's doing really well. I think I'm going to bring him on a play date with Sid maybe like this upcoming weekend. And then I do really want to get a kitten. And everyone's telling me to wait and that it's too soon. But I really want a kitten and I don't want to leave Walter alone for that long of a time. And I think he's adjusted better than I expected. So I think he could handle it. But I don't know.
So, yeah. I mean, I think
It's a
there's
difficult
pros and cons
decision.
of getting a kitten right now.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Still very cool.
That's
though.
very exciting, though,
Yeah.
because that's always a risk. I
It
mean,
is.
any animal, though, but especially cats. And, like,
Yeah.
Walter also has a sensitive bladder.
He does.
So he's on a
CD.
urinary diet. So, like, that was what was, like, I'm like, oh, I hope his bladder's okay
Yeah, no,
and he doesn't get
he's
cystitis.
Being
and
great.
That's awesome.
That's so
Mhm.
exciting.
And he has hated men his whole life because my dad was a scary man and he traumatized Walter. But he, like, my mom has had a boyfriend for like 8 years and he's over very frequently. And Walter just like a year ago let him touch him for the first time. So I had Trent over this weekend, my boyfriend. I haven't talked about him on the podcast yet, but I had him over and like they hadn't really spent much time together because I normally go to his house. And 30 minutes in, Walter was on Trent's chest giving him kitty biscuits.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
yeah.
Wow.
It's a big step.
that's a big
That's a
step
big
for
deal.
Walter.
Yes. I
That's a
was
very
so
big
proud
deal.
of him. I was sending her. Did I send you a video? Mm-mm. Yeah. I'll send you some videos.
Okay.
He's obsessed.
That's awesome.
That's cute.
Yes.
That's exciting for you.
I know.
That
The
is.
two important men in your life getting
I
along.
know.
I know. You don't have to
Like
choose.
Trent fell asleep on the couch and Walter jumped up there and slept on him.
Oh, that's
I know.
cute.
He's like a different cat.
That's
I
good.
know.
Maybe he wants to be an only cat. Maybe this is
I
a
know.
sign you shouldn't get another cat.
But he has so much energy. He needs a little kitten to play with.
You can get him toys.
I can get him a
Can you
dog.
borrow a kitten and see how he does?
I mean, I could foster.
Yeah.
Foster fail.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Well, that's okay. I mean, if they got along, then you would
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do that. I might go to Humane Society this weekend. Stay tuned. It's hard, guys. Now I don't have a mom that like is withholding me from getting
It's the freedom.
a
It's
pet.
exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I get
for
that.
sure.
I totally get that.
Absolutely.
Stay tuned. Okay.
My peak, because you brought up litter boxes, is my litter
Oh,
robot.
yeah. I
robot
saw that.
box.
How's that going?
It's amazing.
Is it?
Did that get sent to you?
No, I bought it
Wow.
because I was
Wow.
tired of, because Calvin had a litter box in his room because Valentine
Uh-huh.
loves
Mhm.
his room, and so I was like, you know what, I'm just tired of having a regular
Yeah.
litter box. I'm just gonna do it, and so I bought that, and it is fabulous.
So what do you do?
There
Like,
is
how do
no
you-
odor. It is, guys, it's like, it is amazing. The cat has a clean litter box every single time. The stuff gets put into
And
a
you're a
tray,
busy lady, so I'm sure that's very helpful to
and
you.
it's like in a tray, and
Mhm.
it's like compartmentalized, so you can't. There is no odor.
So you
You
just like
just
take
have
out the
to-
tray
you
and
have to
dump it?
dump
Yeah,
it?
well, it has a bag. You just tie the bag up.
How often do you have to? Have you cleaned it? Like
It'll tell you if the tray's full.
on your phone.
Wait, is it?
There is a litter box app on your phone.
Yeah, like, you want me to
Is
show
there
you?
one of those?
Yes.
Does it like tell you how much he weighs
Yep.
and like what time he poops and pees
Yeah.
and
That's how it can tell the difference. I think
Nuh-uh.
between
What
That's how it
in
can
the-
tell the
it's a
difference
litter box.
between
is there a camera?
the. No, I don't think so.
That's
Oh,
an
shoot.
invasion of privacy.
I gotta find the.
Do you want a camera in your toilet?
Yeah, it was hilarious because I walked by one time and Valentine was sitting in front of the litter box just
Mhm.
staring at it because it was cycling, and she was
Mhm.
just watching it cycle, like as if she came out of there and then turned around and then was like,
Yeah,
how
clean
did
up my shit.
How did she do it? How did she do with it?
Oh,
she
yeah.
did fine. It took a week for her
Okay.
to start using it.
Okay.
But then once she started using it, she's like, oh yeah, okay, this is fine.
That's
Oh my
not
God, my
bad.
clean toilet.
So yeah, she has a.
Every
it's
cat loves a clean
amazing,
toilet
Huh.
right? I
because they
mean,
go the second you clean their litter box. Usually,
And I've
So,
looked at some of the
yeah.
other like what people have said about them, and I could see where, like, okay, maybe it's too loud, or
Yeah.
but I don't really think,
you think it's loud?
No, but I could see where someone might think that if you had a really sensitive cat.
I was gonna say if it, yeah,
How
to
often does it
noises.
cycle? Like every time they go, or just?
that
Every
is
single
amazing.
time
That's
they go.
insane that there's a litter box like that.
Yeah, I'm trying to find
Technology
the
is
app.
crazy.
It's
It's
like
crazy.
what is it called? Oh, it's called Whisker. That's right.
Whisker.
But like, see,
Oh my gosh, because it whisks the poop out.
and then I don't know, But like it says, like it'll measure the amount of litter, like so, like it'll like that's the tray. So and then I loved it so much I bought one for the basement. So there's like it's saying
This
it's
is not
25%,
sponsored.
25% full.
Wow.
And the one in Calvin's room is 15% full. And then it tells you like what,
with waste.
Does Lenny
or
use
litter?
it?
Lenny uses that's a picture of Valentine. And her weight, like it weighs them every time. So it's really cool.
Do you think the weight is accurate?
I think that it's accurate for like her in that machine. I don't know if it's like her true weight.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like when she goes in there and it's weighing her, like that's probably
Like
accurate.
before a dump and after a dump.
Right. It's probably accurate for her, but it's not like accurate. I wouldn't necessarily consider it exactly like a scale.
Yeah.
I haven't tried like weighing her. I should do that and then I can report back. But like, see, it tells you everything.
Like, because owners will be like,
Cat detective.
my litter robot.
Yeah.
I could see an owner being like, my litter robot says my cat's lost weight. You know what I mean?
Well, and I would say that then you would be like, ooh, okay, do I need to
Mm-hmm.
do something, or
Like,
whatever.
You think it's reliable enough for that?
Oh, yeah. I think that it could
That's so
see
cool.
a discrepancy in weight
Yeah.
between the two.
If your cat has big poops, though.
Yeah.
Walter,
So anyway, I'm a big fan.
That's
Walter be
so
dropping
cool.
LBs.
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, but you literally forget about the litter box.
Yeah.
Because like you literally forget about it,
Huh.
That's awesome.
which is
Neat.
really cool.
That's
my
really
gosh.
cool.
It's expensive, right?
Yeah.
Huh. My mom would love that as a gift.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you and your sister go in
Yeah, for real.
and make it
maybe
like
somebody-
a gift
and your brother.
that is all of her gifts for all of 2026.
She would love that.
This is Mother's Day. This is Christmas.
Her birthday
this
and Mother's
is
Day are like always the
birthday,
same
and
weekend.
whatever. There you go. Okay.
Do you have a pet?
Oh God, a pit. Just doing a lot of traveling.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's fun traveling. So
Yeah.
it's a pit and a peak.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Courtney, do your thing. Thing-a-ling.
All right, T. Exciting news. We have a new segment that is going to be a part of our podcast. It's called Tales from the Trenches. It is where we want listeners to send in your most ridiculous, funny, unhinged stories that we can read on the podcast. You can send those stories via email to theveterinaryroundtable@gmail.com. So we are very excited for that. We would like just send it all unfiltered. Just give it. We just want to read it.
Sit down with our popcorn and
Yes.
just read those.
Yes.
That would be so
Because
fun.
we have Tales from the Trenches, but we want to hear yours.
I would love to hear everybody else's. So fun.
Yes.
Stories are fun.
Okay, case collections.
Okay, what have you guys got
so
this week?
this is just us two?
I think so.
Okay, I'll go first.
They're pretty quick.
My case is a 14-and-a-half-year-old Shiba Inu mix. She's kind of a newer patient to us. Courtney's done some happy visits with her because she has a bit of anxiety. But she was scheduled as an appointment for like 5 p.m. one day a couple weeks ago for swollen face. Like one side of her face was swollen. And I gave her a call and I was just like, hey, like since we have to sedate your dog for her exam, why don't we reschedule for the next day in the morning when we can sedate her, and if she does need one tooth extracted, we could get that done that day. So she came in at 8 a.m. We sedated her, looked at her mouth, and we proceeded into a dental procedure to take that one tooth. And then after dental x-rays and the whole dental exam, we ended up extracting. Anyone want to guess how many teeth?
How old is she?
14.
Oh, she's old.
With the pretense in our brains that we had done a dental on her within a year.
We thought that we'd done a dental
Me and
on
Ham
her.
swore
year.
up and down we did a dental on this dog like last year in the same
Come
time.
to find out, they had just like sedated her for something, and they thought they did a dental at the same
But
time.
not. Like
she
maybe they
didn't-
talked about it, which makes you think you did
Yes,
it.
yeah,
And then
she did
yeah.
not
when
actually.
you're remembering, you're like,
Yeah, she
oh,
didn't
I
have it.
did it.
So
She
when
didn't
we're
have a
looking at
dental.
this mouth, we're like, there's no way,
no way.
Yeah.
there was a dental done last year. Guess how many teeth we took?
We went in for one. Like everybody,
14.
21.
Woo!
And one of them just fell out.
her mouth, I can like smell it.
Yeah.
She's going to feel so much
And this
better.
was a
Oh, yeah.
Friday. Yeah. So now she's like, of course, eating and feeling better.
Oh my
but
gosh, yeah, I bet she's
her
just a
mouth
new
was
dog.
right.
Yeah. It was very convenient that we just kind of got it all
It was
done.
one fell swoop.
God, isn't that
Yeah.
great though? You can fix them, and then
Mhm.
she's gonna feel like a
Yeah,
new
and she's
dog.
fine. Like health wise, she is great. Other than her teeth, and I mean, she's older, but like her arthritis isn't even that
Mhm.
bad. Like
Her
It's
mouth
just her
was
teeth.
bad. Like,
Yeah.
I was monitoring, and Dr. Ham did the dental, and she's like, Devin, look. And I turn her. I'm not great with teeth. Like, I have sensitive teeth, so dentals are kind of hard for me. But I turn around, and she just, like, wiggles the canine and pulls it. I was like, it was, her mouth was bad.
It was really bad.
Oh, the poor dog.
But no, she feels probably
That's
like a whole
so
new
much
girl.
chronic pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's a cool case.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's crazy.
And good for you guys for getting it done so you could make the dog feel better.
Mm-hmm.
And good thinking on bringing her back in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
It worked out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Hopefully she doesn't have another dental in her life.
Oh, gosh.
I think she only has, like, her incisors.
Yeah.
And a bottom canine. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she'll be good.
No, and then she has
fantastic
2 bottom
without,
molars over here, actually. But
it's amazing. They'll eat without.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, they don't care.
Yeah.
And she is highly food
Motivated.
motivated and driven dog. So she never really she stopped eating a little bit, but
Yeah.
Gosh.
all
got
right. Mine was a patient that Dr. Pulse and I saw today. So we had someone call and they came in on emergency. So it was a 3-year-old British short-haired spayed female cat. She came in on emergency for kind of off breathing. She wasn't moving around a whole lot, kind of lethargic, just not acting like herself. So I go in the room, and with emergencies, usually the technician will assess the situation, see if it truly is emergent or not, because you never know. So I went in there. The cat's in the carrier, just chilling. So I talked to the owner. The history was within the last day and a half, she, her breathing was efforted, like abdominal effort with her breathing. She wasn't playing with her housemate as much. She ate breakfast fine this morning. Not on any meds. She's on a CD diet. But other than that, she's had a pretty clean bill of health her whole life. So I said, okay, let's go ahead. I'll take her back, let Dr. Pulse look at her, and then we'll come back and update you. So I take her back to x-ray. Just that was the only available area that had oxygen just in case, because it was a trouble breathing. So we get her out and she immediately starts, her breathing gets pretty rapid and she's getting stressed quickly. She's also a cat that doesn't like to be handled in the clinic, which didn't help anything. So Dr. Pulse got her out, started listening to her heart and her lungs. Her lungs were pretty crackly. And then she just started open mouth breathing. So we put her back in the carrier and we said this is better than, because she was trying to run from us and crowling her. It was just making the situation 10 times worse than it needed to be. So I put her back in the carrier. I have flow by oxygen on her, but not too close because that was stressing her out more. I tried to get an SpO2 on her. It read 95 at one point, but then it was 75 and then it was 84. It was on her ear and she was moving. So whatever. So I keep the cat in her carrier. I try to give her as much flow by oxygen as I can. 10 minutes pass while Dr. Pulse is talking to the owner, just running through possibilities, what we want to do. She's still open mouth breathing. She just cannot calm down. Every time I get close to her carrier to look at her, just make sure she's okay, she freaks out. She tries to get away from me. She kept trying to bolt out of the carrier. So it just, the situation, her breathing was already bad. And then when a cat's that worked up, it's just worse.
Sure.
So we decided to give her butorphanol to try to calm her down a little bit. We gave that IM. About 10, 15 minutes pass by. She's still open mouth breathing, nothing is helping. So then Dr. Pulse okay, maybe let's add in a little Alfaxin. So she goes and gets that, comes back to the cat room. Well, while she's getting that medication, the cat, she just starts flailing in her carrier. She's going in circles. She's panicking, trying to get away, just full on panic attack. So then I try to get her out and then she starts going agonal. She does the death cry, the death scream that cats do. She goes completely agonal. And then I grabbed her, just trying to stabilize her so she wouldn't hit her head, so she wouldn't fly off the table. So I have another tech trying to get a catheter in her, other techs grabbing ET tubes. We grab out everything we can think of. And then she goes limp, and she turns purple and she's not breathing. And then fluid just starts pouring, pouring. And she's a 9-pound cat. It was I feel like it was her body weight in fluid just pouring out of her nose and her mouth. So we rush her to our surgery area where we're more equipped with things. We tried intubating. There was so much fluid. We had suction. We had a tech doing actually mouth to mouth with her. We were doing chest compressions. We could not get venous access. 4 people tried. We just couldn't get anything.
Couldn't poke the heart either.
Yeah, we gave atropine and epi intracardiac once during compression. So we stopped him, gave that, continued compressions, continued to try to intubate her. We finally got her intubated after a while. And we tried to do a second round of epi, but no, we couldn't hit her heart that time. So Dr. Pulse was going back and forth updating the owners because they did want us to try everything we could. And then she finally went back and they called it. So she did not make it. But she had pericardial fusion, pleural fusion, CHF probably. So it was very chaotic and it just happened so fast.
Oh gosh,
but
cats are just,
and then of course people in the situation are beating themselves up. But I'm like, we couldn't have done anything. Like even if we wanted to do x-rays, she probably would have died during x-rays because of how stressed she was already. Like, yeah. So it was just a really crappy situation. And the cat was only 3. The owners were very, very grateful. They were very sweet and they're in the medical fields. They're understanding, but just a really crappy situation.
Yeah. I mean, cats just don't do well in those situations. I mean, they just don't.
No, because they already don't like you. And then on top of that, they can't breathe.
They just like to die anytime they're in that position.
I was expecting it because of her open mouth breathing and her stress. Yeah. I was like,
it's gonna happen. It's like, you're just waiting. It's gonna happen.
It's like staring at a ticking time bomb. Yeah. Like I was like, she's gonna do it at one point because she meowed at one point and I was like, there it is. But then, it was just a crap storm. But our team did fantastic. We moved so fast. We had everything we needed.
There were a lot of people in there.
Yeah, there was no. I mean, she wasn't going to be saved. Like it was just one of those.
Yeah,
just so really, really crappy. Yeah,
I had a feeling it was going to lead into that too.
Yeah. So it was a bummer.
Last month for an annual.
Oh yeah, she was in January for an annual. Blood work was beautiful. Everything was beautiful. She did though. I think you might have done it. We were going to look into it, and I don't think we did. We did recommend an echo for that cat before her spay because of her breed, but I don't know if I'm pretty sure you did it.
Yeah.
So, but I think that was normal at the time.
Yeah.
But I mean, those things happen like that.
Well, and with cardiac disease in cats, they don't have to have murmurs. So the majority of them don't typically. So, like to your point of her being in for an annual.
I have pet sat this cat. I pet sit her and her sister all summer, every summer. And they have her half sister. She's a British Longhair, but they're like, yeah, we're going to bring her in like next week for a workup. So it's scary because Sirma, she's purebred British Shorthair. And then her sister is like, they have one of the same parents.
Yeah.
So it's a little scary for them.
Yeah, I mean, PTSD is a real thing.
Absolutely. And when they have that and they have cardiac disease, they're fine until they're not. Yep. And then all of a sudden they are not fine. And it could be anything that sets them into congestive heart failure. They could be at the house and they run down the hallway, and now they're in congestive heart failure.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
it's so different than dogs. It's just really interesting.
Yeah, it's like one of the. I mean, we weren't going to win either way.
No, like so frustrating.
Like I said, let alone we couldn't even do any diagnostics on this cat.
Well, and then when it's not you, I mean, you can't even.
The
thing
is, like, she's not normally that stressed in the clinic. I feel like.
Somebody had told. I personally hadn't had much experience with her, but other people said she didn't like being handled.
Last month when she was in for her annual, I got her blood. I did her vaccines. Like,
so she was just really agitated.
Yeah, she did not feel
literally
good.
Couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Crappy
Goodness.
situation.
Those are good cases, though.
Okay, continue using our text message feature for our podcast. So all you're going to do is you're going to tap on the episode and whatever podcast provider is your cup of tea. You look at the top and it will say send us an inquiry through a text message here. You click that. You can send us whatever kind of message you'd like. If you would like a shout out on the episode, you do have to leave your name. Otherwise, it comes through as anonymous.
Okay, listener questions. Hey everyone, I love the pod. Such a good way to learn something new while I do homework. I'm currently going to be attending vet school in the fall, and I've always been a large animal person. For the times I've been in small animal med, I've seen a lot of conflict between client and vet when it comes to applying care plans. The question I have is, how do you approach clients that have their degree from WebMD and aren't taking your knowledge and applying it to their pets? I know as vets, we are in the business of people with the side of animals, and I want to be an effective communicator on behalf of the animals I hope to care for. Much appreciated, from Delaney Amaral.
Gosh, that's a good question.
That's a really good question.
Yeah. So how do you approach clients that have their degree from the web
So, Dr. Google.
and aren't taking your knowledge and applying it to their pets?
That is so difficult because I
you
feel
could
like
print
you can,
off like veterinary institution
or if they're really gung
information
ho,
and give that to them.
If they're gung ho about looking on the web, you can give them like
reliable
sites.
Reliable
websites.
sources.
Yeah.
That's a great way to. So it sounds like you could say something like, so it sounds like you have done quite a bit of research
Mhm.
on renal failure in
Mhm.
cats. You know, what I'd like to do is direct you to some websites that have
Veterinary
reliable
partner.
information
Mhm.
on renal failure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then you'll be a great advocate for blah, 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 blah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
or saying things like, you could say things like, you know, oh, I totally know where you're coming from. That is an old line of thinking that has been, you know, dismissed as of now because of this,
Sure.
this, and this.
Like
Just
there's
prove
updated
it- prove things with, like,
information or
Yeah.
Give them facts.
new research.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, if they're not going to take what you say and if they're not going to trust you and your judgment and your knowledge, then it's really hard to help them.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say some owners are just gung ho on what they
Mhm.
read is what it, and then
I mean, we have people who come
you
in and
choose
be like,
your battles.
hey,
that you fight.
I believe garlic takes care of fleas. I'm not doing anything else. And you could show them 15 million things,
Doesn't
pieces
matter.
of information. It's not going to matter.
Yep.
So, like,
Pick your battles.
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes.
Yeah,
you
for
have
sure.
to.
And I
Thanks for
don't see
listening.
that very often. It's not like a
No.
every single day occurrence.
No.
The fun stuff
no.
is when it's like someone in the medical profession, but they're not like a doctor, so they have a little bit of knowledge.
Mhm.
And then there's one client that comes to mind, but
Yeah,
those are always fun conversations.
Mhm.
They're
yeah,
like, you have one recommendation. They're like, what about this medication? I'm like, no.
yeah, yeah. So I think just continuing, again, we talked about conversations, maybe. Was that this podcast?
Last podcast.
Last podcast. Okay. So getting good at conversations. And then I think also, to your point, Courtney, understanding who you can sell to and who you cannot.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are some people that it doesn't matter, like we
Nope.
said.
Don't
But
waste
then
your
there are
breath.
other people that are interested in learning from you.
Mhm. They
So-
just truly don't know.
Yep.
You read it. I mean, it's on the internet, so
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for listening to us while you do homework. Gosh, I would not be able to focus.
I know, right?
we talk about so much stuff.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, next one. Hello, everyone. I was wondering what y'all's thoughts or insights were on island schools. Ross, SGU, etc. I'm coming to the end of my second cycle of applying and currently have one acceptance to SGU with a couple more schools to hear back from. Just wondering if there is still a stigma around these schools. Thanks, y'all, from Emily.
I know someone that went to St. George and someone that went to Ross, and they both had tremendous experiences.
Mhm.
I don't know much about it.
Yeah, I would say that I don't think that there's a stigma necessarily around it anymore
Mm-mm.
because they've been around for so long. There's been so many classes that have been graduated. The biggest deterrent is cost.
Mm.
You do not want to go unless you absolutely have no other choices.
Hmm.
Or you just are made with,
Is it tremendously more expensive?
oh, yes.
That would make
Unless you're just
sense.
made of money and it doesn't matter. Sure, then go to an island to go to school.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think there's any more. I just don't think there's a stigma anymore.
I don't think there is either.
Yeah.
It's not like
'Cause
your
I-
education is less.
The
Yeah.
person I know that went to Ross was like a little while ago. And then the person I know that went to St. George was more recent, but they both loved it.
Yeah. So I would use it as your like last resort just because of cost. But otherwise, I think you're.
Wait, by island school, do they literally mean schools on an island?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what those are. St.
like
George,
US islands.
Ross.
Like in
Interesting.
the Bahamas.
Yeah. It's like in a Caribbean climate.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
really nice.
I would love to experience that.
Like, please invite the Veterinary Roundtable. Will
Right?
you come? Right?
Once again, we are down to come to an island.
We will travel
If
to
we
any
haven't said it
islands.
enough.
with
we'll
someone,
travel by
yes.
boat.
We will travel by boat.
plane, by boat, by car.
Oh,
I'll
gosh.
swim.
Whatever gets us there, we'll get there.
Give me my floaties and I'll swim.
This isn't necessarily an island, but I know that a lot of vet students have been entertaining the idea of going to vet school in Europe just because it's cheaper and it's.
Yeah.
Is it shorter? I don't know if it's
No,
shorter.
but I think it's much harder unless it's an accredited institution. it's much harder to then come over here and get your license, right? Because we talked to
We talked to Dr. Isabel.
from Mexico,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and I think that's part of the problem, right? If you say there's a shortage of veterinarians, then there should be a faster way to incorporate these veterinarians who have training outside of the United States into the United States.
Yeah,
if that's where they're living.
Huh.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
I do think there's
think it's
disease
cheaper, though,
processes that are
over there.
probably different in
I've
other
heard that.
countries.
Well, yeah, remember what she told us her tuition was? We were all like,
Yeah.
Do you remember Dr.
It was
Isabel?
like $5.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I've heard that it's cheaper in Europe and that people go over there for that.
Yeah. But then, you run into the problem of coming back here and practicing.
Yeah. That could be an issue.
Okay. Hi, my name is Sophia Wright. I have a 15-year-old golden doodle that on 2/11/25 had to see our vet because the cyst got infected. While me and my mom were there, the vet felt another lump near his lower jaw on the right side and told us that the lump is either thyroid cancer or salivary gland cancer. The vet said that the lump felt pretty firm and is 7 millimeters. Is there anything that we could do to find out exactly what it is? I think I'm wanting to know because I want to know a little bit more about each. His name is Donovan.
FNA.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bineedle aspirate.
Aspirate
That's
that
all I
puppy.
got.
Biopsy.
I mean, you could 7 millimeters is not big.
No.
So like you could actually do an excisional biopsy.
Yeah.
Unless it was buried like against the larynx or
If the
something.
FNA is inconclusive, do a biopsy.
But like you should be able to FNA and tell that it's a salivary gland.
Easy.
Mhm.
Like that.
I mean, it'll be all stringy and
Mhm.
Yeah.
weird looking.
Mhm.
But absolutely aspirate it. There's no it's non-invasive. The dog's not going to care.
Yeah. I wonder.
Absolutely. Aspirate it.
Or is he saying he just straight up? I mean, if
I know,
he
I'm
said one or
wondering-
the other, then there's no way he didn't FNA.
I'm wondering what the vet,
Right?
like,
I want to
did.
know a little bit more about each. About what does that mean about each? What can like whether it's thyroid cancer or salivary gland?
Yeah.
So you want
I
to
guess
know
if he did FNA
Like he wants to
and-
know more information about those disease processes.
from us? No, just
Like he
in
wants to
general.
know what it is, so then he can
Oh, so then he
learn about those things.
can. Okay, got it.
If the dog has one or the other,
Okay, got it.
right? That's how I read
Yes,
it.
she
Does
wants
that
to
make
know. I'm
sense?
thinking the dog's a boy, and then I'm talking as if her name is Sophia, right? And
Yeah.
I'm calling her a guy. Sorry, Sophia.
Donovan's the dog.
Donovan's the guy.
Donovan.
So yeah, I mean, geez, just aspirate it. It'll take 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah. If he already did, what do you think the chances are that the vet did aspirate it and the differentials are thyroid cancer or salivary gland cancer?
Then he didn't send it into to get histopathology. So you could take that and put it on the imagist,
Mm-hmm.
or you would send it into the lab.
Yeah.
And then the pathologist should tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If the pathologist did not know whether
That's
it
the
was
problem.
I don't think that's
Yeah.
I just don't think that's would have happened.
Mm-hmm.
They're two different, like seeing whether it's a salivary gland, like you
Yeah. They seem like they would be pretty
I
different.
was gonna say lower jaw. Like, could it be?
because I would think she would have said the vet
lymph
said the
node?
lump was firm. She aspirated it, and
Would like a X-ray be beneficial at all
no,
at that
I
area?
mean 7 millimeters. You got to think about. I mean 7 millimeters
I guess,
is
yeah, that's
like
true.
this big. It's tiny.
FNA.
So
That's the first step.
unless
yeah.
it's
If they
7
have it.
centimeters, which would
Then
be
damn.
that'd be 3 inches. So that would be more like
Yeah.
right, which. Maybe that's what, but I mean, I'm going with what she said, which is 7
Sure.
millimeters.
Yeah, I think it's millimeters.
Get rid of that sucker if
Yeah.
it's at all located in the subcutaneous space. Just,
Yeah. Huh.
Unless it's
Or the
attached to
dermis.
something, but
yeah, but at least aspirate it.
Yeah.
that's
This is
your
our
first
final
step.
answer.
Yes.
Absolutely,
Okay. Shall I?
you shall.
Yeah,
You're in the
thank
You're both
chair.
just staring at me when
Take
I.
us
You're in the
out.
chair, baby.
Okay, thank you so much for tuning into another episode of the Veterinary Roundtable. Remember, send in those questions and leave us a review if you enjoyed this episode or a previous one. We'll see you next week for another episode of the Veterinary Roundtable.
All right, thank you.
Bye.